Today we're going to read an excerpt of The Humor of the American Cowboy by Stan Hoig, illustrated by Nick Eggenhofer. And we're going to go to this chapter for Law Without Order. To the cow country, law and order was a rather loose term. It could mean anything from a decision by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court to the personal opinions of some grim-mouthed gentlemen who were calmly tossing a lariat over the limb of a cottonwood tree. Most Westerners liked the law well enough, but weren't sure that it ought to be out west, and the respect that many had for it varied proportionately with the quickness of the sheriff's gun hand. All in all, the range felt that it had a pretty good set of rules of its own, and resented outside interference. In fact, in some sections, the name Son of a Gun Stew was changed to District Attorney Stew. This indifference to former law was reflected in the courts of law of the West. On one occasion, two attorneys had a heated argument after the jury had withdrawn. When accused of misreading a point of law, one attorney lost his temper and called the other a dirty, lying dog. His opposition countered with a like estimation. The courtroom quieted in anticipation of hearing the judge assess fines upon the lawyers. However, he spoke calmly. "I'm happy that you two gentlemen are acquainted with one another now. May we proceed with the case?" In another court, a certain lawyer who was noted for his oratorical abilities undertook to discuss at great length a point not entirely relevant to the case. As he was about to reach the emotional peak of his delivery, a jackass suddenly began singing outside the courthouse window. The attorney for the opposition came to his feet. "If the court pleases," he announced gravely, "I would like to second the opinion of the attorney on the outside." During early Fort Smith, Arkansas days, a horse thief was brought before Judge Isaac C. Parker. The man was given a severe tongue lashing and fined $200. Upon hearing the fine, the horse thief thought he was going to get off lightly and jerked a big roll of bills from his pocket. He began to peel off 20s. "And 20 years in prison," Parker added. "See if you can pull that out of your pocket." Another young citizen of the West was arrested for horse thievery and brought to trial. The evidence was overwhelmingly against him, but his lawyer went around the facts of the case, concentrating on the more emotional values in the accused widow's mother, wife, and children. As a final touch, he called upon the jury to gaze into the face of the defendant to see if they could find the look of a guilty man. They evidently did not, for they retired and came back with a quick, not guilty verdict. After the trial, a friend of the young man came up to him and asked confidentially, "Did you really steal that horse or not?" "Well," the cowboy said, scratching his head, "I really can't say. I thought I did, but after hearing that there lawyer speech, derned if I'm not so sure about nothing." The Humor of the American Cowboys.